Hi, everybody. My name is Regina Fike, and I'm coming to you from central Pennsylvania. It is about 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm hoping whatever I'm recording now is understandable tomorrow when I look at it again. I am doing the career profile for week 2, and the job that I chose is an intensive family services team therapist with Presley Ridge here in central Pennsylvania in the York office. I chose this because this would be the next logical step for my employment after obtaining my degree through this program. And I currently work in the Intensive Family Services unit as an advocate, so this would be the next level of advancement. So it was interesting for me to see what that would look like. Presley Ridge is a 501c3, a nonprofit that's based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They had their foundings back in the early 1800s. Although it started with modest beginnings, we now serve 6,000 clients in 6 states, and we offer a wide array of family support services. The office in which I'm located and the program that I'm specifically talking about is Intensive Family Services, and that program works specifically to help families maintain and preserve families, or to prevent disruption, prevent the county from having to remove children for safety or other concerns, or if children are removed, work with families to meet whatever goals and objectives the county and the court have set forth in order to effect a reunification. So it's work that's close to my heart. So currently, the work that I do there is in a family advocacy position where I'm helping families with a lot of temporal concerns, housing and budgeting and maintaining the environmental safety of the home. The position that I researched was one of a therapist, which is more working on some of the reasons that families may have experienced trauma and how that's manifesting in their lives in ways that puts their families at risk. These programs are contracted by children and youth, by the county organization, or sometimes by probation offices. And so we work as an adjunct to those other collateral agencies. The typical work schedule is Monday through Friday, and a therapist has significant latitude to create a schedule for themselves with their clients. While that's a positive and that's a very good thing, it's also the case that it's necessary to kind of meet the families where they are and work around their work schedules, and so sometimes that can mean that we're working late hours or outside of that typical Monday through Friday schedule. The mission of the organization is whatever it takes to create success for families, and whatever position I land in, I think that that's a personal ethos, and I feel very comfortable working in an organization where that's the mission statement. As far as typical stressors go, because teams are frequently working with families who are in emergent crisis, they're in domestic violence cases, parents who have relapsed or are active in their addictions, sometimes homelessness, severe mental health issues, whatever those issues are, we're coming into the family at a moment of crisis where the family could disrupt. And because that's the case, there's a great risk for secondary trauma, compassion fatigue, burnout, those things that are common in our profession. Also, under stressors, I listed that there are fixed expectations for productivity, and one of the things that I think probably gets missed when we talk about nonprofits and 501c3s is that they operate on very tiny financial margins, and so to keep the lights on, it's necessary that each worker pulls their weight and generates enough billables to justify their position. And that's difficult, particularly when many of the variables that govern your productivity are outside of your control. Families who are in crisis sometimes are not compliant. They don't always want to meet with us, and so a therapist going into those situations could find that could be a stressor. Also under stressors, I put that workers are sometimes working in dangerous or physically unhealthy environments. Things like being in homes with roaches and bed bugs and other kind of environmental concerns can be really challenging. Also called sometimes into neighborhoods at times of the day that are you need to be conscious of your environment where you're working. As far as benefits go in this position, there is what I assess to probably be a pretty generous benefits package. Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health, MetLife Dental, NVA Vision, HSA, and FSA for dependent care, 403B or 401K with a company match, continuing education benefits, and wellness incentives. Under job tasks, I would say that the most important thing that a therapist is doing in this in-home kind of environment is meeting the family where they are, rapport building with them, helping the family to assess where they want to go. I feel sometimes like they're sort of Uber drivers. They meet them where they are and try to help them get where they want to go. But that ability to connect relationally with people and hear what it is they want rather than trying to impose the will of what the system wants is a critical piece of what I think the therapist does in this capacity. Also to assess the appropriate level of clinical care and make referrals out as necessary. You'll hear later that this position is one that is a little bit different than a clinical therapist that would be working in an outpatient environment as far as that goes. So even though the term therapist, I think of this more in a counseling kind of position. So being able to understand what needs there are and reach for those services outside of the organization is critical. Also to conduct comprehensive biopsychosocial evaluations, assist family members and staff in the development and implementation of crisis and treatment plans. A lot of collaboration with other entities. There's multiple system involvement in working with these very high at-risk families. So often this position is called on to collaborate with other providers, whether that's JPO or family court or school or other therapeutic venues, whatever it is. Also to know and comply with all state mandated reporting laws, HIPAA standards, mental health regulations, to maintain file within the contractual obligations that we have, sometimes to supervise court-ordered visitation, and to testify in family court as required. The educational requirements for this particular position. What they advertise for and what they would like to see is that master's level folks in human services or other related fields are who are applying, but they are open to people with a bachelor's degree with sufficient experience and who are also enrolled or enrolling in a master's program. They prefer a BSW, an LGSW, or a licensed social worker degree. The starting salary range is $40,000 to $45,000, and given everything that I've just explained to you about this program, I was, it sounds like it's really hard, and that's really awful, not great money. And one of the things that I was touched by and surprised to learn is that many of the therapists who have been doing this work, who obviously are not staying for the compensation that they're receiving, is that they've been there for more than 5 years doing this work, and I think that's a testament to the fact that there is a compensation that is spiritual and emotional connected with this work that is not necessarily monetary. So that's certainly how I feel about it. My information sources were from the website, presleyridge.org, the local director, Jeff Winters, IFS, one of the IFS therapists, Crystal Lensner, and Glassdoor.com. So this was a good exercise for me, and I hope that you gained some good information about what it means to be a family therapist doing direct care here in central Pennsylvania. Thanks. Bye.